Hey guys, so I've come to realize I've talked a lot about Kingdom Hearts and how much I love this series without really ever explaining why I love it so much. This series has been with me since I was a young lad, and it's truly shaped the person I've become today, and I want to try and give you a little bit of an insight of what makes this series so special to me. This isn't going to be a top 5 or a top 10 list type of video just because I don't want to limit this list too much, nor will any of these be in order of importance until probably the last 3 or so. However, I will try to stick to one moment per game, that way we can keep the list from being dominated by moments from Kingdom Hearts 3, because holy shit! I cried more than a grown man should have for a video game about a spiky-haired anime character featuring Pumbaa. Oh, and I will be trying to limit the amount of Riku moments since I love every moment with this sweet silver-haired emo king. Oh, and, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts and the entirety of the franchise. Let's start the list off with a moment from Union Cross, because yes, I do play that game. And the moment that I'd have to pick from this mobile game is the fact that you get to fight Snake Jafar. This was the one thing I wanted in Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was thoroughly disappointed. Kingdom Hearts 1 combat was a bit too slow to have a really fun boss fight for Snake Jafar, and then when I saw the combat of Kingdom Hearts 2, I was like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. But nope, no Snake Jafar for me. Please, 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 Square Enix. Please put Union Cross onto a console, that way I can fight this snake like a man. The end of the first episode of Kingdom Hearts Dark Road was very interesting, to say the least. It took a character, Xehanort, who most of us had spent the last damn near 20 years hating, someone that we wanted to beat over the head with an oversized key, and made us feel sympathy for him. There was something very humanizing about that, and it hit me in a way that I didn't think it could. Xehanort's interactions with Eraqus and the rest of his classmates really reminded me of Destiny Islands in Kingdom Hearts 1, and it honestly makes me excited to see how the rest of Dark Road goes. Alright guys, honesty time. I only played the number titles for a majority of my life and only recently got into those spin-off titles, but holy hell. Shion's death in 358 over 2 days is one of the most depressing deaths I've ever experienced in video games. Listen guys, I get it, the line of, but who else will I eat ice cream with has been memed to high hell and back, but when you look at the context in full detail, it's honestly heartbreaking. Roxas has 2 friends, and eating sea salt ice cream was something that was closely tied to those friends. It was an act that he wouldn't have considered doing with anyone else unless he considered them a close friend and someone he was willing to die for. Shion's death was just the nail in the coffin that was the tragedy of Days. And that's kind of why I think Days has a much more depressing ending than any other Kingdom Hearts game, even compared to something like Birth by Sleep. By the end of Days, Shion is dead. Roxas has been kidnapped, and Axel has to deal with the fact he no longer has his 2 best friends because he refused to act against destiny. And then at least by the end of Birth by Sleep, there is this small glimmer of hope that Aqua will find a way to save Terra and Ben. You just don't get that same feeling at the end of Days. There is this overwhelming sense of dread at the end of Days that you really don't see anywhere else in the series, and for that reason it's one of my favorite titles. Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days is the one game in the series that I really want a remaster of, so that people could really experience the story for what it is, because it is a truly beautiful but heartbreaking tale. Alright guys, let's talk about a scene from Kingdom Hearts 2 before we go into the big 3. Believe it or not, Goofy's death fake out was pretty traumatizing for me when I was a kid. I don't know if it was because I was fairly sheltered as a child in terms of what games I was allowed to play and what movies I was allowed to watch, but watching Goofy die was really the first time I remember ever crying from a video game. I was completely convinced that they had just killed Goofy, and watching Mickey pull off his cloak getting ready to end everyone in a 10-mile radius only acted as supporting evidence. I remember spamming the living hell out of the X button out of sorrow and anger to avenge some stupid dog that Sora had just barely known for a year. Alright, final 3, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts some more because I said so. The final battle of Kingdom Hearts 2 against Xemnas. Sora and Riku deflecting those plasma, swords? Bullets? I don't know what they were, but that was fucking cool. They kept deflecting the laser plasma thingies and jumping around like some anime characters getting pushed to their limits. It is, without a doubt, the second best climax in the entire Kingdom Hearts series. But yes, I said second, but that's a conversation for another video. When I was younger, going up against Xemnas was an all or nothing battle to the end. This was the last thing standing in the way of peace. With Ansem and Xemnas finally gone, the worlds would be able to live in peace without the fear of the Heartless or the Nobodies. Of course, this was before we found out about Xehanort and that whole fiasco. And it just felt like I couldn't mess it up now. I was so close to protecting all the worlds, and I loved every freaking moment of it. Okay, can I be real with you guys for a minute? I fell out of Kingdom Hearts in junior high to high school due to some fairly serious mental health issues, and things got pretty ugly for a while. And one day I was at my local GameStop and overheard that there was a new Kingdom Hearts game coming out, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. And within that was Kingdom Hearts 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a Fragmentary Passage. I of course still loved the two games I had already played, and so I thought I'd give it a try. This of course was my first time meeting Aqua, and later on I learned that this was basically an overglorified tech demo for what would be Kingdom Hearts 3. At the end of this tech demo for a game we wouldn't see for another 4 years, Aqua makes a promise. To be the Wayfinder, to guide those lost in the darkness so that one day they could find the realm of light, because she was Master Aqua. And I cried. I cried for the first time in years, because I felt like I had finally seen the first shimmer of light. Like I said, I had never played Dream Drop Distance, Birth by Sleep, Days, or even Coded before, so I knew absolutely nothing about Aqua or her stories going into this. But yet, while going through 0.2, I felt every bit of struggle that she felt throughout Birth by Sleep. Aqua was my Wayfinder. She was my Wayfinder out of a darkness that I had been living in for years, and I couldn't be more grateful to a fictional character for doing something so simple. And then the Frozen trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 was released, and we got our first look at Anti-Aqua. It was time to return the favor. She had saved me once before when I was lost in the darkness, and now she was lost. It only felt right that it was my turn to rescue her after all of these years. Alright, and then the number one moment is... shocker, it involves Riku. That moment in the Keyblade graveyard when everyone was being murdered by a demon tower and Sora absolutely loses his shit was the moment I thought Nomura was gonna pull a big fuck you, the bad guys are gonna win because I said so. Riku standing his ground and telling Sora that he doesn't believe that he's given up yet right before giving up every last bit of power from his heart was something that was absolutely moving. And as he was engulfed in the darkness, I was crying, I was excited, I was proud. It was everything I wanted in the final resolution for Riku's character arc. Every time someone tells me that Nomura can't write to save his life, or that he's making everything up as he goes along, I point to Riku as proof that he has some sort of plan going in when he's making these games. I'm not going to be spending a ton of time in this section just because a lot of the things I want to say are going to be in a future video, Riku's character analysis. So I'll just leave it at this. Riku sacrificing everything for Sora just to give him a brief moment to survive and to do the right thing will be one of the best moments in the entire series for me for a very long time. At least with the way Nomura's been talking, Kingdom Hearts 4 releases in 2022. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memories is supposed to be a look back at the series thus far, covering the entire Dark Seeker Saga. So on the day of its release, I think it only felt right for us to go back and look at the series thus far and talk about some of our favorite moments, with more fantastic memories coming with what I'm going to be calling the Foreteller Saga until I'm told differently. So go ahead guys, comment down below about some of your favorite memories so we can all share in the beauty that is this series. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with my ramblings about Kingdom Hearts and all things video games, or if you think I'm pretty neat, I'm that too, kinda. I've been Trainer Otto, keep rockin' and rollin', I'll see you guys next time.